everyone. I want to welcome you to this session on demonstrating station rotation model. I want profs to be here so that I can also introduce him as well. And I know some of you may be familiar with my face. I'm Philippa Joko, a digital consultant to different agencies of the Ministry of Education in Nigeria. I'm also a resource person to some international agencies. So I welcome you once more to this particular session. It's supposed to be a demonstration session, and it's also going to be an interactive one. So I'm just going to give a brief overview of what the station rotation model is, which I'm sure many of you will have heard about. How many people have heard about the station rotation model? Let me know. So if you don't know, then we know where we're going to start from. Many people have heard about blended learning. Blended learning, okay, so we are going to be talking mainly about the station rotation model, which is what the UPEC Smart School has adopted, which we all know regarding blended learning. But I'm going to take you through what blended learning is and why it's important that the station rotation model is adopted. So the whole thing is how station rotation model enhances what we call learner agency. So I'll define blended learning, which basically is a blend of two different worlds. And what are those worlds? The enrichment of teacher to student based on what the teacher wants to teach the student, and also the capacity of the digital tools and technology which can aid the teacher to teach better and also help the learner to do what? Also learn better. So it is deemed a blend of both worlds. I mean, for this reason, because you combine face-to-face teaching with online learning, you also do what? You allow students to also learn at any time. Even within the classroom, when your students are able to get 1, 2, 3 things while you are talking, after you have finished, you can also go back and do and learn from what you already have prepared, either on their tab or through the learning management system. It's supposed to personalize learning paths. And what else? It caters to diverse kinds of students. You know, all of us are all different. Some people learn by listening, some learn, some are exactly, you know, what we use to describe the multiple intelligences that actually come people can learn just by writing, others by listening, others by feeling the things. So the typical traditional classroom may not be able to cater to all of these what needs in our learners. So when you now blend in with digital tools, you actually cover basically everyone. Everyone is covered in their learning process. It's not limited to those that can learn best when the teacher is talking. Then in blended learning, you have an encouragement of more active engagement. The student is not just active whenever the teacher is talking. Sometimes the student has to be active when he or she has to engage with content on a tablet. So follow that there is active engagement, either through multimedia or through discussions or through self-paced activities. So as you can see that diagram there, this is actually a school. And the students were so occupied with what was happening on the laptop. On their own, the teacher didn't have to be there. So in front of that, in blended learning, there has to be a shift from what? The teacher being the one talking, and also the teacher being the one enabling learning or even pushing for learning. That shift is normal because as time passed over the years, have you be the one talking. So they shift from a teacher-centered approach to what we call learner-centered approach. You know, and that is where we now find that the teacher-led instruction becomes what student-driven learning process. Then, of course, it promotes learner agency through choice. That means the student can decide, I'm going to focus on what's happening now. Instead of have to be the one to say, if you people do not learn this thing, if you don't go to teach, it becomes a choice. And the reason why it becomes a choice is because the student is motivated to learn. You're not the one driving it. A lot of children are very fascinated by all these attitudes. I'll be fascinated. So the idea that I can learn mathematics, I can learn English language through some of these things, they decide on their own that they actually want to learn. Then, of course, learning by the way it is, you know, also encourages what? Collaboration. And you know why? Because oftentimes you have different education model where the learner can do what? Collaborate with others. This collaboration. And you find out why this is very, very important. During our own time when we had to learn, some things were not available for us. And believe me, I can tell you that we actually paid for it in many ways. Many other people find it difficult to collaborate. It's very difficult to share things because we're not brought up with it as we were going. So the learning adapts to students' interest, pace, and what else? And learning styles. Primarily. Are we all following? So you know that instead you can actually implement learning through different models. Like the flip model. Who are talking about the flip model here?
Flip model.
Okay, what's the flip model, sir?
That's a model.
And that type of model. Okay, what's the flip model, sir? They are okay?
Model allows learners to learn from home.
Beautiful. Allow the learners to learn. What is the fault with this kind of learning model? What do you think is very important from this? Okay, what would be the disadvantage of this kind of learning model if it is free? What do you think would be the disadvantage? Because the learners are to learn.
Is it linked with the idea of the technology?
Maybe if you have to learn with the technology.
Yes, the curriculum also don't have lights.
But the learner may not have access
To those
to technology. So if you think we can say, if you learn something here, I'll probably go home and learn it. If you go to the rural setting where there's no power, and there's no work, there's no internet, and it doesn't have the technology, so that becomes an issue. And that's the reason why one of the best models to foster what we call learner agency is station rotation model. But that's what it's doing, start back in the school. All the activities that the student needs to engage in are in the school. Even if you need to give each child something to do, it may be an assignment that may not require the use of technology. So in the station rotation model, you have a teacher rotation, then you also have different stations which can either be a collaboration station, as you can see there, where a lot of group work actually takes place. Then you also have the online learning, individual practice. And one of the things that this does is that it is a good model to promote learner agency. Other models have different degrees at which they do that, but the station rotation model is actually, in my own view, a field work, you know, where I have to go to different smart education centers. And my son engagement has some reason I'm going to show you. I mean, it's quite interesting. And the issue that the teacher is primarily the author and finisher of knowledge, and actually breaks down to the two of them, the teacher and the learner. Because there is that engagement between the teacher and the learner and what other learners, and the learner and the technology on its own. So it's actually it's actually a relationship that ensures that it's a win-win situation. The teacher gets to win in the sense that the learners learn more, and the learners themselves get to win because they learn on their own and they also learn from each other. And they do what? They acquire skills that are relevant, maybe not for that particular point in time, but later in life, what we call the 21st century skills. So I'm going to show you some videos to demonstrate what we have in some of our smart centers, some of our modern schools, like fantastic, really wonderful. So I'm going to show you this video here. You watch and see what a teacher is doing. You can see the sitting arrangement. When we're going to demonstrate it, how to do the that she goes to sitting arrangement and why this arrangement exists. That's the teacher there. She's running the teacher station. So I'm trying to stop this one so that you can actually watch this other one here. Okay. Now in the second video, you're going to see the students move. Can you see how they're moving? They're actually moving from one station or one part of the class, the particular station, from there to another station. The video is hanging. Okay, fine. Are you moving? Yes. Now they're moving from one collaborative station to either the teacher led or moving from the teacher led to the collaboration or to the self-learning station. Okay. So you discover that the station rotation model empowers ownership, the ownership of learning. The learner themselves understand what they ought to do in station rotation because they engage in different learning modes. They watch video, their questions are not boring. It's not a teacher talking and saying, and talking. No, it's not. They engage in different learning modes, visual, auditory, and what can expect is they have to move around from one point to another, often at the cue of the teacher. They are also involved in active participation. They are active. They are actively participating. They're not just there and copying notes. No, they're not doing that. Then what do they also do? At some point in time, they may also work on their own. Let me show you that in this video here. That's a child working by himself. This once I do work, they're working in groups. Can you see? They're working in groups. So you see that the station rotation model allows for autonomy, collaborative, and independent stations. As you can see, can you see the teacher here? Yes. That's where the autonomy is. The boy that is learning by himself, the teacher is on her own doing her own thing. Huh? It's only when there's necessary for the teacher to be with the students when the teacher will likely leave where he or she is and go to the particular station that actually requires her, her skills. So why station rotation? Station rotation fosters what we call 21st century skills. These are skills that are required for learning right now. The kind of skills I required when I was younger, when I had to learn, when I had to go to school and family. It's not what is required in the workplace right now. In the working environment right now, a lot of people that are colleagues need to collaborate as teams. Also need to be able to carry out independent research on their own without their boss asking them and telling them, why have you not done this thing? So some of these skills that are required is what we start to hone in them, but when they are in primary or secondary schools. So that it's not a big deal for them when they now come out and they need to do research on other people. It's not going to be a problem because it's a skill set that they have learned. What else does it do? It also does what? It fosters collaboration, serious, strong one. I mean, the collaborative power rotation model is very good. It also fosters what? Communication. Communication skills amongst them. They learn to talk to each other. That peer-to-peer thing is there. There's communication during group discussion. What else does it foster among them? Anything? There's what? Yeah, there's that team spirit.
Knowledge sharing.
Knowledge sharing.
They learn from others.
Yeah, they learn from themselves. And that is exactly what we people are doing right now. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about artificial intelligence before. You have heard about AI. Right now, you see, the AI can aggregate data from multiple sources and share with you. Is that what it does? Is it asking you for who you have before it shares?
No way.
It doesn't. So you see that basically right now the kind of era that we're in is an area of collaboration where you have to learn from others. It's an area of team spirit, social intelligence. This when you constantly engage in group activities, when you build up your social intelligence, that is the ability to relate with people, interpersonal skills, communication skills, and that is what spatial rotation fosters. Then there's that self-direction and adaptability. The self-direction here is that I'm not getting these things. How can I help myself? Once the child knows that, so that child that was on his own, he was understanding something and it took time and part to go over it so that you understand it. He had to.
It's okay.
Who entertain question?
It's okay.
So if you look at this now, you see that the stations are independent and people are doing work, people are learning. The learners are engaged. We're engaged. And this is critical, this is important for us to understand why station rotation. Some people ask, why station rotation? Why cannot be any other model? It is because of its capacity to develop learner agency in learners and cater for the different learning styles that you have. It is the best when it comes to that. So if you have questions, I think he raised up his hand and contributions to our contributions. If you have had any experience in it, you can talk about it before Prof will come to talk about how we're going to demonstrate station rotation effectively. Sir, question please, I think you raised your hand.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, maybe I should allow Prof to demonstrate because yeah, I'm going to be there this another guiding teacher from University.
Okay.
By the grace of God, I was one of the persons sent to Korea last year.
Okay.
I have a little disagreement with station rotation.
Okay.
Maybe I wanted Prof to be here. Must it be a physical rotation in a class? Because the idea of if you want to rotate your stations, you have to change them to move from a particular group to the other one, will bring distraction in the class. So I always disagree with it that since they are having tablets, you can be in an offline and online. Then if you want to switch, the offline will shut down their tablet, while the other will pick it up. You just stay like that and they move
You know what,
they're encouraging us to do.
you know, they're going to have to see what you're saying right now so that we can show some demonstration and also talk about why many teachers are having problems with the station rotation model. And the reason why they're having their problem with the station rotation model, it's not the model itself, it's the pedagogy. It is how you apply it. And you see, you don't have to do station rotation model for every topic.
Yes.
You don't do it for every subject. And you see, and that is one thing that is the pedagogy of if you, for instance, if you're doing drama, what are you rotating? Huh? If you're doing admission, what are you rotating? Huh? You actually have one class and probably, maybe the teacher led and probably your students where you are supposed to demonstrate what admission is not so. So when a teacher is going to apply the use of technology into the professional life, that's why it's called a blend. It is supposed to drive the learning process. It's supposed to make your students learn better. That means you must already know how to make them learn first before you can now apply technology to it. If you are doing history, for instance, now, if you are doing history, a large number or a large part of your teaching will be what?
Theory.
No, storytelling.
Storytelling.
Thank you, sir. Storytelling. Narration. You'll be storytelling if you truly want them to understand history. That's why a teacher will be grounded in the pedagogy of the subject he or she is teaching before that teacher can adequately blend technology with it. It must be. And it's not all technology that fits all subjects. Is that true?
Yes.
Huh? Okay, if you want to teach somebody ablution, how best can you teach somebody ablution? You have to do what? Demonstrate. And then you have to not tell them to go and do what? No. When you demonstrate, what else can you now tell them to do?
Practicalize it.
Huh?
Practicalize it.
To go and practice it. To go and practice it. So that understanding, that's why, since Prof is here now, and he's going to also break it down to the nitty-gritty of the teacher understanding what she or he ought to do in the classroom as a teacher first, before you can now start talking about blending. Because if that pedagogy is not sound, for instance, let me give you an example. When I went to, I think it was Oshu, I went to, and I asked one of the teachers to show me what he had prepared for his class regarding blended learning. He was supposed to teach repetition. And you know what he did? He spent just a few minutes, at the teacher-led station, then at the other station. You know what it is? We brought foodstuff. He brought yam, beans, rice. Now, he's asked me, could he not have used a video for that? Could he have used a video for that?
Yes.
Okay, the video and the real life, which one will be better? Thank you, because they felt the yam And they counted and they were counting the pins.
Yes.
Huh? They did that. So a station was actually dedicated for that. For that. Now that is somebody that understands the pedagogy of his subject. Sir, yeah?
Yes, Commander.
Okay.
Thank you very much for doing justice to topic. My question, or before question, is observation.
Yeah.
I want to align with the statement of my colleague regarding the station rotation method.
Please, can you just, sir, please, can you say what you have to say? Sir, you know, when you went out here, he wanted to address you about something, so I told him that you should allow you to come before. So please, sir, can you just stop here?
Good morning, Prof. I was like saying something concerning station rotation. That must the rotation be a physical rotation, that the learners will move from a particular desk to take a particular desk, or it should just be that since all of them have the tablet, if we have a technology section here, they can just shut down and assume to be collaborating, while the other one pick up their gadgets and become a technology section. Because with the movement in the class sometimes brings distractions, especially if you are teaching in the primary and just primary section. Yeah, that was my question. Must it be a physical rotation?
I will answer you when I come.
So, you know, that's why I said that you should just wait.
Practically.
Yeah,
Not
just wait
theoretically.
when it's demonstrated so that you see. What we're just doing right now is just to lay the foundation for the demonstration and the practice. Because everybody here that wants to actually understand it fully, we need to be grounded in what is best to be done in the classroom regarding the different rotations. Sir,
Yes, like I was saying, during our visits to some of the schools in Seoul, Korea, we visited about 3 schools. Frankly speaking, I have not seen a practical application of station rotation, where learners move from one point to another at a certain point in time. That is why I say I am in harmony with his statement. That maybe when the prof is on, stage, he will demonstrate. Now the teacher-led activity. We say blended learning is extraction of traditional way of teaching and online experiences, isn't it? So that teacher-led, I want to know its name when it comes to the previous conventional method of teaching that we observed before the advent of what I'm saying, in lesson preparation, from class, to evaluation, we say name, class, behavioral objectives, introduction. So where does teacher-led activity falls? If I want to give it a traditional name, that is my question.
Yeah, it's just still teacher-led side. Because if you have...
So does it fall under steps?
Under...
Steps, or presentation?
No, but you see, sir, if you have access to... I'm sure you haven't done anything about blended learning lesson plan. That's why you're asking this question. Because the lesson plan for blended learning, differs from traditional one.
I attended leadership training in Kano, where we were giving an example of blended learning lesson plan.
It's not the same thing because the prof is going to mention it. The lesson plan for blended learning is different. And the reason why it's different is because of the different stations that are involved. And you need to mention the station and what should be done by at different stations and how long you are going to spend at the different stations.
My question is very simple.
Sir?
That teacher
It is still
He just wants you want to see that relationship between that. So for me, I can tell him that it's just an introduction aspect. Match with some summary of the presentation.
But you see, if you say that, you actually remove from the three.
No, you want to know, so you tell him that the name. He knows that. He knows the teacher name.
No,
He knows the teacher name.
in traditional lesson plan,
Yes.
prior to the advent of
Yes,
blended
exactly.
education, you understand? We used to have previous knowledge.
Yes.
But now they call it entry behavior.
Yes.
You understand? Now, teacher-led activity. What do we used to call it? In traditional method of teaching.
Okay, fine. What does a teacher do in the traditional lesson plan? What does a teacher do in the traditional lesson plan?
Introduction. Introduction, he presents via following steps.
Via following steps.
Eh.
You see, you need to discard some of these things because all of what you are following steps are actually all other activities that are teacher-led. They are all, you see, if you are thinking that it should
I
refer
understand
to
I now get to know what you are trying to say. Now, even in the activity-based, form.
You know what I'm looking for you,
Excuse
sir.
me.
You know what I'm looking for you,
The
sir.
activity-based
I'm
of the
going to send you.
lesson plan, madam.
Yes, sir.
We do have teacher activity, learner activity, then learning point. You understand? Teacher activity.
You know what we do for you, sir? So that we don't waste time.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a copy of the NMA lesson.
We
So that
have.
you see.
We have.
So that you see there. Because we have trained teachers, we have trained teachers who have seen the traditional norms, who have also seen them and they flow easily with it. That education that we have. That's what we've been doing for the past 2 years now. So, and they never had any issue. They really flow with it. In fact, they saw where learning activities were that those learning activities have now become online and collaborative. Their activities fell under teacher-led. They also have assessment. They also have introduction. They saw all of those things there and didn't have any issue with it. So I want to say something here, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That's a very good presentation.
Yes, sir.
Though, as I'm still listening, I'm getting some other things that answers some of my questions. Because the station rotation model, fantastic. But our curriculum, our scheme that give us 45 minutes, 30 minutes per lesson, I don't know how we'll be able to use that 40 minutes and then you have rotation. And because in our school, we do this one even at the lower level because I think the blended or rotation is just Montessori method amplified. Montessori method amplified. You understand now?
So you want to say Montessori?
The school of thought.
It's okay. That's what, and which is fantastic. But in the what do you do? No. Our supervisor, our inspectors and other things, they don't agree with that system.
They don't agree with the system.
With that system, because if you come to my school now and then I tell you, if I want to use the rotational method, I can have like 3 subjects in a day.
Okay.
So that I'll be able to have enough time. That's what we do in the Montessori classes. Because it takes more than an hour per subject so that it can go well. But the DQ, ERC will not allow that. Because they want to see 7 subjects per day in your timetable.
You see, I'm sure there.
You understand? What I want to say now is that if you are giving us this, please also give the ERC and DQ. So that they have it before us.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I see here.
Now,
When we're talking about sexual rotation model,
Yeah.
every person needs to have its comprehensive understanding of what it is and what they should measure whenever they actually go to the class.
yeah.
And I said something, I said, the teacher's understanding of how to best teach his subject plays is paramount to how he or she can manage the learning classroom. If that teacher is very defaulting, but let me give you an example. When I did my PG at the University of Ibadan, and I was told to go to a particular school to teach chemistry, the first thing I did was find out how long I had, and the volume of work I had to deal with. That was the first thing I did. Now, and I knew that according to the timetable, there was just no way we would finish at the syllabus for the 15 weeks I was given. So I told the principal that I said, please, I'm going to use PowerPoint and some videos to cover extensive topics that you probably take me about a whole week. So atomic structure and some other ones, I just brought video materials into the classroom, and what we are taking me a week or two, asking questions, did it in just 1 week. Believe me, almost all of these people wanted to become science students. Because I knew that there was a concept that I best taught in video that made talking and it's like storytelling, for instance. Now, storytelling is not the same thing as mathematics. In science, you need to demonstrate some of these things for them to understand instead of talking so much about
and even writing on board my is even exhausting the time.
Thank you. So even as I said, even the rights and everything. So now that's why technology now comes in. Instead of this spending so much time talking about something that you can demonstrate, a 2-minute video can cover like a week activity in teaching. You can. Simple flow diagram about what the other thing is it a water cycle? Instead of people, water cycle is the and you show this is the same thing too with circulation of blood. When I did biology, I showed them how the blood passes through the body and changes from red to blue, and I told them to mark every instant that there was a change. All the organs that it saved us 2 weeks of talking. It did. So they were surprised that in 10 weeks we had covered class. Saponification, how to make soap, what did I do? I took them to an industry. Field trip about how to make soap. And then they had to go and tell about what to make. It saved us 3 different periods of talking about soap making.
Fantastic. That's,
Yes,
I know what I'm just saying is the regulator. My own problem
I'm sure that they can. So I just want us to know that when you know how best to teach your subject, technology learning becomes an piece of cake to you. It should be anything to you. If you know that this is how this thing should be taught, and you now look for the applicable or the most appropriate tool to use to teach it. Because it's not all the time that a teacher should talk.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
And time was serving every step.
Yes. It's
Teacher
not
learning
a time.
experience.
It's not because you see, it's basically in learning learning, the learner is involved in activities. You provide the guide for the learner to be involved in that. The fact that we have been teachers have been talking from centuries ago doesn't mean that that's how it's taught to be. And that is why learning has become a great tool in ensuring that education actually grows on its sleeping and we're able to produce learners that are well equipped for the 21st century. Any more questions, please, so that I'll wrap up and allow Prof. Come in and do it. And anything that you have about, that you have observed about learning, that rotation, please, and the Prof is here, he'll put you through, and that's it, sir.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay, no problem, sir, yes. All right, so thank you very much. So I'm going to introduce Professor Yazid to you. I'm sure you all know Christopher for Prof. So Prof will come and demonstrate actively. And you see what is called demonstration. Who's from any university here? Okay. I used to tease them at the university. I said, you see demonstration. You see demonstration now. Okay, so